Hi and welcome. I'm Armin, you're watching Moto, and this is my brand new Panigale V2, the new generation. And I already did a couple of modifications, but nothing too serious and stuff that's been well covered on the YouTube sphere. But in this video, we're gonna put some new foot pegs on, because I don't quite like the riding position on this bike. I want to get a little bit more comfy. As if you follow my channel, you know getting comfy is pretty important for me on my bikes. If you have not subscribed, well then subscribe, and there's a lot of other footage about S1000s, racetrack, and now also about this Panigale V2. We're gonna put on this really sexy GILLES FXR2 foot pegs. I will go a little bit into the construction of this and then just show you how to put them onto the bike. And also we're gonna change the bike from road shift to GP shift. It's pretty easy to do on the bike, but there's some screws in the way, so I'm gonna show you how to get around that and then put into GP shift and put this really beautiful piece on and take this piece off. Well, I already did it, but I'm going to show you how I actually got it off. There's a couple of bolts in Ducati fashions that are hard to reach. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, give it a like. Let's get started. Let's look into the construction, and also we're going to weigh them. Alrighty, let's have a look at the construction of these GILLES FXR2 rear sets. At first glance, they're beautiful. You can see it's all billet machined aluminum. You can tell by these little ridges how it's all machined out of one block of aluminum. Also on the back side, you can see there's a lot of areas where they carved out excess material just to make them lighter. And then here we have some bearings in there to make the operation of, on this left side, the shifter smooth. And then this guy is adjustable in a couple of positions here where you can slide it around, but also it folds in. So this is neat when you have a crash, that there's a chance it can fold in and doesn't get cracked off, so you still have a shifter after that. Speaking of crashing, when you crash, GILLES offers every single part separately. In the manual you find the part numbers for everything on the rear sets. So if you have a crash, you can just custom order any parts, screws, bolts, what you might need. The carbon heel guard is kept in a satin finish. Looks really nice and fits also the rest of the bike. Now, finally jumping to the main part, why you would actually get this, which is of course an adjustable foot peg. For the adjustability, you see you have a couple of numbers here in two axes, up and down, and then also left and right. And then you have the numbers, which is really cool about GILLES. So up here is 10 millimeters offset. That means you're already 10 millimeters higher than the OEM position. If you would go up here, you would have 26 millimeter higher than OEM. And this here would tell you how much is set back from the OEM position. So 15, 32 or 49 millimeters. There's a couple of cool things about the foot peg itself. First of all, you would see right here, there are some holes you can look through. So there's really a pre-drilled area where in German we say Sollbruchstelle. So that is a point that is designed to have weakness, meaning in a crash this is a point where it would break off. And this is on purpose so that the part can fail without doing any more damage to the rest of the foot peg system or the frame of the bike. Then from the inside, this is all hollow to save more weight. You can also see here these little holes. In the foot peg there's a pin, so it perfectly aligns with these little holes, so you don't have to ever worry about rotating this. And then these little squares are very sharply machined and very, very grippy. The very outside is a little bit taller, and so this is really nice when you want to put the foot on here and pivot it around on the track. Definitely a very well engineered foot peg. Also, GILLES offers different foot pegs if this is not your jam. There are other models that are in the catalog that you could order and put on there. Last but not least, there's a simple screw here. This is a Torx, and with that you can then remove it and then move the foot back to the other positions. Alrighty, quick weigh-in of the contestants. I have the OEM screws in there, so we replaced them. So I'm going to weigh the entire system. This is the shifter side, coming in at 469 grams. Let's weigh the other one. Here also we have the bolts. They come with the foot peg. And this weighs in only 346 grams. So I'm going to put here the difference in grams. So What we're trying to do is we're gonna flip this one around. So you see here is a marking on the inner part here that goes into the transmission. And here's marking number 1. And here's marking number 2, which means there's a second riding position. But this bleeding nipple is in the way, so you cannot really access that. So what we can do now is we can use the lever and then actually pull this back by doing a shifting motion. And when you pull it all the way up in regular shift, this screw will become available. So we're gonna pull it here and then I can remove it. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Now I'm gonna hold the shifter, get my 4mm, and it's coming loose. Yes, Tommy, what do you think for this screw, huh? Yes, terrible quality. Yes, that's what I said. Tommy agrees. These screws are terrible. Should be Torx nowadays. Don't know what Ducati is doing there. Okay. And with the shifter rod now out of the way, we should be able to free this part. Quick note, you can see how this aligns. So we're gonna flip it around. That number 2 aligns right there. So yeah, you can tell that it's pretty easy to align it like this. Nice thing about GP shifting also is you will have to screw here, so this will become much easier to access in the future because it's not behind the stupid pin anymore. Almost like the Ducati engineers designed it to be like this. Oh, if you don't know what GP shift is, it is essentially just changing what this rod is doing. So GP shift is just opposite of street shift. That means if you go down with the lever, you actually shift up in the gearbox. And if you pull it up, you do shift down. That's just what it is. It's usually used on racetracks, and I have it on some of my other bikes. Therefore, I want to do it on this one. And then you can also access the screw much easier. So a couple of advantages right there. Now, removing this is pretty simple. You can see here, these are the 2 main bolts holding it. And it's just a simple Allen, typical Ducati fashion. Now with everything removed, let's put on the new Gilles foot packs, tighten things down to Torx spec. I will give you that in the video as well. And use some Loctite as well. Let's get started. All right, before we put this on, we're gonna connect the shifter rod to it. That goes on here, and Gilles provides a shorter screw, so use the Gilles provided screw. And in typical Gilles fashion, you can see this comes with some Loctite already. So we just need to put this one in and torque it to 10 Newton meters. Now, why it's important to use the provided screws, you can see it's now only coming out for like a millimeter or so, and it can move freely here without hitting this part of the aluminum. So the other one is too long, important to use the right screw here. Then just so it doesn't hit stuff, I'm going to put the screw in here and just have 2 or 3 threads holding it. And we're going to add these bolts. It's not in the description, but I'm going to add some Loctite and 20 Newton meters. And in case you're wondering, these are Torx 45. Definitely happy Gilles is using Torx. Much superior construction than just a good old Allen. And this one goes pretty deep inside, so you need to make sure that your socket is small enough, or you get something like this adapter. I got this one so we can also do later the foot pack. I will put a link for this part in the description below. And torque that to 20 Newton meters. Now don't forget about this one. I was just holding it in place. You see factory, it also came with green Loctite. I'm gonna put on some blue thread locker and 10 Newton meters. Yeah, you gotta love magnetic tools. If you like any of these tools, I will put a link in the description below. Excellent, and this is this side done. Over to the next side. Okie dokie, let's remove those. Very similar, here we have 2 60mm, but I'm going to remove the rear brake master cylinder first. This is a 5mm, not a lot of torque. We're also going to get the screw down here, also 5mm. That's the last piece holding it on to the rear sets. Feels like the same torque, maybe something around 10. Newton meters. Not a lot. But this one definitely has some thread locker on it. Now we're gonna separate this, get the spring out, and we're also gonna remove this bolt, which is for adjusting your rear brake. Okay, let's see. First step is to put this one on where we have right now this rubber. Yeah, this rubber boot comes right off. And then this one slides on, but to make it a little bit easier, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on the inside. Gonna use the good old Bell Ray. This should make it slide on easier and keep water out. All right, I have it pressed on and I don't think it's gonna go all the way in. I'm gonna leave it like this for now and check. Right now I have like a 2 mm gap all around, but let's keep an eye on it. All right, next part. We're gonna reuse the screw that we saved to adjust the lever travel. And you see here's a hole for it and there's a stopper plate. So just gonna put in the screw here. And then it just says torque to OA spec. I don't have that one handy. Probably not a lot. And I would definitely use some Loctite here on the thread so that this doesn't loosen it itself up, and that will make it stay in place. Important thing is we have to measure here from the top of the nut to the top of the threads 6 mm. That is the recommended standard setting. Alrighty, so to measure, get your caliper out, and then I'm gonna see if we get 6 mil. 5.94, close enough. So now we're gonna put some Loctite in and tighten down this nut. Alrighty, now we come back to this guy and gonna put that also on the rear set. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease around this because this will move ever so slightly. So corrosion protection and also slide a little bit better, and then the spring stays on here. And then this one already came with Loctite, so I'm gonna put Loctite in and gonna torque it probably to 10 Newton meters. But I don't have the OEA spec, so you do you, but 10 sounds like about right for me. Checking a clearance, everything looks good. Torqued, spring, and now we can move it in place. And then use the Gilles tooling balls. I use a dash of Loctite and 20 Newton meters. Last but not least, the 2 OEM bolts. And for this, we have to compress the spring a little bit. Get this through the gut. All right. In the instruction it says apply OEM torque. I don't have it, but as you remember earlier in the video, I said they're not very tight, so I'm just gonna make them hand tight, like so. Also, the spring is holding it in place, so there is some tension on it, which should really make it very hard for the bolts to work themselves out. And now, test the rear brake. Works. Alrighty, mostly gents and one lady. Now we have this installed, and the last parts remaining is of course wait for a little bit for the thread locker to dry, verify that your brake and shifter is working correctly, but also you can customize it, right? Like, of course, the point of aftermarket clip-ons is to be able to dial it in. So I'm going to quickly adjust the foot peg here on this side, and for the other side it's the same. You can also adjust your shifter position, etc. By just loosening up the screw and moving it around. But not going to do that today. Just going to show you the most important one here. And so here we're just going to use this Allen and pop this rubber cap out. The rubber cap is only to make it pretty, so you can run it, you don't need to run it. And then down there is again a Torx 45. And because it's pretty far in, I got this tool, so I linked this in the description below. This is essentially like a 10 centimeter long Torx 45. So you can enter it from here and then unbolt it. Then you just remove the screw, and voila, and it looks like this. So we have this little pin here, which seems like also we can move it in 2 positions. So you have 2 options. So you probably can pull out this pin and put it into the second hole here. What it does is it rotates the foot peg, and then here you see you have corresponding little holes. That is really so that the foot peg doesn't rotate on you and stays in place. So you can dial in where you want to have it in relation to OEM. So OEM would be something like here, quite far down. And so I'm going to go up and forward. That's my preferred position, but you do you. I'm going to use Loctite, blue Loctite, and 20 Newton meters. So this sucker stays in place. All right, remove your torque wrench. I put the cap on. And we are good to go. So I'm going to try out a couple of different riding positions, but I already had a seat on the bike with the pegs in this position. It's quite a lot more up, so I have a better closure with the tank. So that really suits me, but I'm going to ride and maybe adjust it more. Easy to do. I hope this video was helpful. If you learned something and it helped you a little bit in your project, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps that other people can find this video. And soon I'm going to make some more videos of this bike. You can see it's coming along, has a couple of little modifications, and I will walk you through that, but also most importantly, ride the bike and take it for some nice rides. Alrighty, until the next video. Bye!